Last night, Lil Rel took to Instagram and showcased a piece of art that he got from a fan. While showing the art piece, Rel took the opportunity to give a fan a shout out, thanking those that have been without him through his career, while also sending a subtle reminder that those that don't support him, including Katt Williams. Now, in the post, Rel said, "I appreciate anyone that supports me. I really thought this was cool. I don't take many pics without my glasses, so this is super dope to me." Also, a fan sent a reminder of what Mr. Katt Williams said about me. "I'm just an ugly brother out here being successful. Thanks, Katt." Now, if you remember back in 2018, Katt was a guest on V103 Atlanta and criticized Lil Rel, Gerard Carmichael for being ugly movie stars while also addressing Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. Since Katt's comments back in 2018, Rel has appeared in an impressive 30 projects, including starring in his own sitcom. According to IMDb, Rel has another 10 projects currently in development. Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction and Pierre, along with very special guest, Alicia Cooper, calling in to give their reactions. But first, let's take a look at that clip.
And don't think everybody can't wait for their next special. Who don't think they got something to say? The fact of the matter is what makes a great comedy special is if 100 people talk at the same time that you talking, are you saying something different than them people are saying?
No.
Because if you are, then you deserve a special. And if you don't, you're going to find out you're not special. Because they're going to let you do your special, Gerard Carmichael, but nobody's going to watch it. They're going to let you be a star, Lil Rel, but you ugly. And white people don't believe in ugly stars. They think you have to be somebody that women want to sleep with and men want to be.
So I want to dive right into reactions, and Pierre, I'll start with you. After seeing that clip, what was your first reaction when you saw it back in 2018?
Woo! Now, well, I almost forgot. Katt was dropping some bombs, clearly some bombs that made sense, and you know, it's his opinion. Somebody didn't agree with, but all in all, in the totality of what he said, he spoke a lot of truth in that. I would say that, but now I would say everything in that is truthful. But in totality, it makes sense. You know, if you ain't saying nothing, you ain't gonna get no special. That's different than someone else. Hollywood, you know, people do want you to be. If you want to be a star, it's got to be someone that men want to be, or women want to sleep with. That's very true. It's always been said. You know, and you know, how someone looks is up to him. That's his opinion. Who looks good, who doesn't look good. But I'll go there.
Right, and we'll dive into that a little bit more in just a little bit. Alicia, I want to come to you first and foremost. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I want to ask, what are your reactions, you know, if this is the first time you've seen it or back in 2018 when it was first released?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just finally realizing why my career is not taking off, because I'm too pretty. No, when I first heard that in 2018, I was like, good gosh, woo, shots fired. I never knew that being ugly would be a plus, you know? So, you know, in this entertainment industry, everybody wants to look their best, be their best, do their best. If that was the case, why everybody, as soon as they get their first big lick, go get their teeth fixed? You know, you can keep them teeth if looking bad is a plus. You know, I don't think anybody believes that these guys are where they are because they're uber talented. That's what rose to the top. Their talent, Kevin's talent, Rel's talent. These guys are extremely talented. But what I like that Rel did, because he's from Chicago, and everybody from Chicago is a Michael Jordan fan, Jordan took every slight and used it as fuel. Rel went and got a Peloton bike. He dropped some weight. Rel did everything he wanted to do to get to where he is today. And now he's got 10 projects coming up. So, you know, whatever it was, it fueled Rel, and look where he is now.
Absolutely. Now, Vanessa, I want you to chime in on that as well. What is your reaction if you're just now seeing it or back in 2018 when it was first released?
Well, I saw it when it was first released, and back then and now it's a mouthful, very bold. But you know, that's Katt. Apparently it was a lot. I'm sweating. I will say that I've been friends with Rel for a very long time, since the beginning of my career, as well as with Hannibal. I am from Chicago. That's where I started my comedy. So I say this with love. Those are my brothers and everything. But as far as what I thought, one, that their feelings are important. You know, no one wants to be called ugly, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. I agree with Alicia that it wasn't about their looks that got them to where they were, you know what I'm saying, that got them to where they are and moving forward, excuse me, but more about their talent as far as comics and stuff like that. We're not normally the one that you're panting over. You're more attracted to a comedian. Normally it's because they're making you laugh. And that's the part where the men are jealous of you and the women want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? So I understood what he said in a sense because, and no strike to them, but you're not, it's not that you're ugly, but you might not be the most strikingly handsome. When I first look at you, I'm not like, God damn, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that as soon as I see you, it's like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And so it's like you don't. Pierre, I'm gonna keep going. I remember seeing How to Be the Player, and I don't know if you were the one that I was.
Right, that's cool.
But you know, to each his own, and I think that's an important thing too. Is to each his own, and a lot of us are coming into it where you're coming into your attractiveness. You're finding out what is attractive about you, and it's not always that. You know what I'm saying? What traditionally folks would think it is. So I guess those were my first.
Absolutely, Vanessa. Now I want to read a quote, a comment that one of the users said, and Lil Rel actually responded to. The gentleman said, "You're clearly still bothered by what he said. Charge that to the game and keep it pushing. You're successful. Stop dwelling on what Katt said." Lil Rel would respond by saying, "No, it's funny AF. And literally someone sent that on Twitter the other day and I couldn't stop laughing. Sorry you read it that way, brother. LMAO." So Pierre, I want to start with you and I want to ask the question, do you find truth in Katt's previous comments in 2018 saying that, you know, Hollywood only pushes unattractive black men, you know, of course, to what society or how they see beauty, but, you know, what are your thoughts? Do you think there's some truth into what Katt Williams said specifically about that?
Sure, without a doubt. You don't see too many leading men being comedians. It's not now. I know some people in the comment gonna say, "What about Eddie Murphy?" Okay, it's an anomaly. But most leading men who are handsome and leading men aren't comedians. You know, comedians usually have known and since the start of time as, you know, court jesters, sidekicks, somebody on the side that's making you laugh. It's just not somebody that people want to laugh at you, not want to be you. It's like, oh, he's wild. So, you know, and some people who weren't societally attractive, you know, been teased all their life or whatever, they became comedians. They took it and reversed it and said, I'm gonna be funny since I'm, you know, big girls. I know a lot of big girls try to be funnier and stuff. Or people who aren't societally attractive again, they try to be funnier and say, I want to be accepted. So I know I'm not gonna be accepted by being the cutest girl or the cutest guy. So let me be the funniest and be around y'all and I'm funny. And that's how it kind of ran its course. Society, sometimes Hollywood is a reflection of society. And, you know,
absolutely. Now, Alicia, I want to bring that same question to you. Do you think there is some truth, you know, in what Katt Williams saying that Hollywood only pushes unattractive black men?
Well, I think Hollywood goes where the money is. And stand-up comedy is a pretty ugly field, you know, as far as what we have to do and go through in order to be funny. You know, there has to be traditionally beautiful people don't have the life experiences, the gravitas, they don't have the adversity that most people have. In order to go places you have to go in order to be funny. So if you're just so beautiful and everything's been perfect in your life and everything's been handed to you, that's not going to be something that audiences find hilarious and really enjoy. So you're going to have some things that set you apart from the rest of the pack and give you the life experiences to talk about, which is not beautiful. There's not beauty in stand-up comedy it's almost an oxymoron. So I feel like people who have certain types of experiences are the funnier people, and then they get the audiences, and then Hollywood finds them. So I don't think that Hollywood sets out to find anybody. The audiences pick who Hollywood then picks up.
Vanessa, I'll bring that same question to you. What are your thoughts? Do you find some truth in, you know, what Katt Williams saying about Hollywood pushing unattractive black men?
Yeah, sure. There's some truth in it, I believe. There's a trend or have been a trend of just pushing kind of, I don't want to say unattractive, but not the most traditionally attractive. You know what I'm saying? I will say, like you're like your Seth Rogans and all these different guys, or Adam Sandler even. I wouldn't do them with somebody else's business, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I'm more looking at, you know, what is this certain je ne sais quoi in this particular movie that they do have a love life, they do have, you know, things going on or whatever. Yes, sometimes it's a better joke you know what I'm saying, for the comedian or whatever, as Pierre was saying, you don't always see them as the actual leading guy. Yes, they will be one of the starring roles, but they're not necessarily the lead. And as far as it goes with Black men, yeah, I've heard the thing of the not wanting a more non-threatening Black man. You know, there's people in Hollywood that talk about how they didn't get one role or another because it was like I came across too aggressive or they wouldn't believe me for this role. So I think that you do try to fare toward the more lighter in spirit or in face. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? In that space, I feel like there is definitely some truth to it. There was something else I was going to say.
Right. Let me ask you something, Symphony, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupted. It's kind of the same situation. Let's be honest, society likes slimmer people, thinks slimmer people look good. You can say what you want to, opposed to heavy people. Now, here's it. Why is it someone like Monique could talk about skinny women ain't shit, but no skinny woman could talk about a big woman being that shit? You know what I'm saying? In comedy, let a skinny woman say, I'm tired of these big ass women, these big ass, like, boo. But a big woman can say, I'm tired of these skinny ass women. No different than a handsome man. If Boris Kojo, whoever said, I'm tired of these ugly ass dudes, I'll be like, boo. But if a guy who's not societally attractive was like, man, you handsome guys get on my damn nerves, we all clap and laugh. You see what I'm saying? So it is like that in society. We can tease, one can tease the other side, but not the other. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what.
One thing I was going to say to add to that, as far as like what Hollywood picks, is that Pierre had mentioned Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Murphy wasn't just like, oh my God, he's so fine, but it was a believable. It was a certain je ne sais quoi. It was a certain thing about him that you was like, oh, I could see myself in bed with him. I think that they continue to do it, but in different ways. Even if you say like your Teddy Bear, you know what I'm saying? I had a little crush on Cedric the Entertainer back in the, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, because they're showing that other side to it. You have to play up to whatever your play up to your strengths. You know what I'm saying? Steve Harvey and Bill Bellamy used the lip, you know, they had a lot of lip appeal, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So they use that, even if you do your DLs or your Bernie Mac, that kind of thing. It was more of a husband, or your Wayans, Damon Wayans, that gave a husband attractive vibe. So I don't think that they're unattractive, and that's what Hollywood is going for. Because I just named a bunch of people that I would have, why am I saying this? Have some form of attraction to.
So Alicia, when, you know, looking at the entire conversation, right, there's, you know, the Black men and then the Black women, that a lot of people just feel like there are certain images being pushed when it comes from Hollywood. So do you think there's an agenda that Hollywood wants to push when it comes to, you know, putting Black women and Black men?
I don't know how calculated they are. They don't really know enough about our culture. I don't think they even know what we find attractive. So I don't know if it's this agenda that they're like, we're going to put this person forward because of X, Y, and Z. They're like, oh, well, they must think he look good because they going to every show and they falling out. So forget what I think. They must think he handsome. So I think all that matters to Hollywood at the end of the day is the bottom line. They care about that green. They don't care about anything else. And like I said earlier, the ones that he names are hilarious guys. You know, so, and they have the audiences and they bring the goods and their specials are amazing. And this is why they're benefiting. And I can say that look at their name, and their name of the men. The women don't get these kinds of breaks. You know, it's the males that they're pushing to the forefront. It's a lot of funny women out here that aren't getting these shows and getting these specials. And where's the female agenda to push somebody forward? It doesn't happen. You know, it's a patriarchal society, and I don't know if they're that calculated about it. I just think that they're like, well, they like them, so we're gonna like them.
Pierre, I want to bring you in on this question. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's an agenda when it comes to pushing, you know, certain Black men and Black women when it comes to the image?
Are we off of comedy, or are we just on totally in
I think in totality, just like the stars in general. Of course, I know, you know, you have very specifics, which you can get as specific as you may need, but just in general for stars in general.
Well, I kind of agree with Alicia, but I also think there's a little bit of it. You know, a handsome Black man looks like a typical handsome Black man. You don't see too many light-skinned handsome Black men, or you know what I'm saying, in movie roles. It's a Denzel Washington, Lakeith Stanfield, whoever it is. That's the look. The darker brown-skinned man is who they think Hollywood thinks is a leading man. You don't see that many light-skinned guys running families. Oh, you know, okay, Terrence Howard one, but I can name 10 dark-skinned men. So Hollywood thinks that's what a hot Black man. They used to think a hot Black woman was a light-skinned woman. You know, I'm seeing that trend move over. So they do have an agenda, but now it's being, you know, people are, the internet's opening up. You get to see what people like more, who hitting likes. You can be light-skinned woman, everybody's liking, or light-skinned guy they liking and stuff. So Hollywood's starting to say, hey, I guess there's a little bit of everything going on here. But for a while there, it was an agenda. So I think so.
Absolutely. Vanessa, I want to bring you in on that question as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's an agenda when it comes to Hollywood pushing a certain image of Black women and Black men?
I feel close to what Alicia and Pierre were saying, in the fact that, like, one, what do you know about what we think is attractive? Sometimes I think that can be a bit distorted. Number two, do you care? A lot of times I don't think you even care to stimulate me in such ways, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Three, yes, I think there is something to it. Shirley Ralph was just speaking on it. She on something where she was saying back in the day, a casting director was like, who's going to go to a movie where you kissing Tom Cruise? Come on now, or something like that. And of course, Shirley Ralph is beautiful and all through her years, you know what I mean, or whatever. But even bringing up Shirley Ralph, I absolutely love seeing more versions of beauty on the screen. Quinta Brunson, I love looking at her on Abbott Elementary with that little love interest thing going on with Brother Man, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And even Janelle James, she's a cutie pie on there. And it feels good to see those kinds of women on the forefront and being the stars of those shows. So I particularly would like to see more versions of beauty starring and being the leads in these shows, and even Robin Thede and just there's an array. I'm just naming women that are on the forefront.
Absolutely,
and that sister's in behind the and in front of the camera, but there are those out there, and I'm just naming the ones that came to the front of my head, but I know that they're in things that are out right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know I feel cheerful when I see it.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you being able to, actually give names, because then that gives people to go back and look and really pay attention to those. So I appreciate you for doing that as well. Now before we head out,
I would have named some men too, but I don't.
I
already did enough earlier. So.
I think you did a great job. Now before we head out, I do want to make sure we go around. Alicia, again, I know I thanked you earlier, but thank you for joining us. So sometimes at the end, I like to just check in to see what you guys have coming up. So Alicia, as our special guest, I want to start with you. What is it that you have coming up that we can look forward to?
This weekend, this Friday and Saturday, I'll be at the Arlington Draft House in Arlington, Virginia with Craig Shoemaker. And just look out for some of my film projects coming up. I'm directing some stuff and looking forward to giving some comedians some work.
Absolutely. We definitely love
to hear Vanessa.
We love to hear that. Vanessa, I see you smiling big, so I'll come to you next. What do you have coming up?
Man, I'm always smiling good, big. God's in the blessing business. Catch me on Nappy Boy Radio podcast. Check out my YouTube page. I need to post some more stuff. But you can see me in Arlington, Texas at the Arlington Improv at the end of the month, March 25th through the 27th. I'll be at the Arlington, Texas Arlington Improv. So come see me.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Pierre, what can we look forward to? What do you have coming up?
I'll be at Zodiac's, a place called Zodiac in Youngstown, Ohio. So come out, shout out Youngstown, Ohio. I'll be at a place called Silks 2 nights in Cleveland the night before. This is this weekend, Friday and then Saturday, Saturday, Sunday at Silks in Cleveland. And don't forget to keep watching my podcast. I want to thank everybody for watching Pierre's Panic Room. Shout out to Comedy Hype for helping me get it out there. A lot of good people. We got a doctor named Dr. Johnson, Miss Dr. Carmen Johnson on this week. Very interesting story, man. But again, thank you for the love and support on that channel, my YouTube channel, and Pierre's Panic Room. Again, thank you so much. And that's what we're going to do.
Absolutely. Well, as always, I appreciate you all for calling and chiming in. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Lil Rel resharing what Katt Williams had to say back in 2018? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Man, put it in the comments.
Down below.
In the comments.
Take it easy on us, though. We sensitive.
No. Shit. Keep it up in there. I need something to do at 2 in the morning.